NBA All-Star Saturday Night is in the books. The Bulls saw their only representation at All-Star Weekend in Matas Buzelis in the Slam Dunk Contest, as well as in the Rising Stars game last night, and it didn't go over too well in the dunk contest for Matas Buzelis as he failed to complete his first dunk, and while his second dunk I thought was impressive, it didn't wow the judges or the crowd, and his overall score ultimately wasn't enough to get him to the finals round. And now I won't make this that long, but for those who didn't get a chance to see the dunk and maybe were curious how things went, I'll give a brief synopsis on my take on Matas' dunks as well as the dunk contest at large. Now, to me, what was disappointing and I think what ultimately killed Matas' chances to get to the finals was his choice of that first dunk, because his first dunk was exceedingly more difficult than the second one that he attempted. And while I get that you want to come out and make a statement, prop that score up, to me, it's always good to go on the safer side and actually go with a dunk you know that you can complete. I mean, that first dunk by Andre Jackson was so incredibly basic, but he did it because the dunks that he was trying to do weren't working. Both of his dunks were really bad, and he botched the first few attempts on both of them, but he got a higher score because he actually finished the dunk, while Matas did not. To me, if you're going to go with a difficult dunk like that first one that Matas was attempting to do from behind the backboard, bouncing it up to himself through his legs and finishing with a one-handed tomahawk, to me, if you miss the first two times, maybe switch it up and go with another dunk just to ensure that you can complete it. I kept saying to myself, watching it in real time, man, that is a tough dunk to complete. That's a bit ambitious to do on your first one. And I thought eventually he would let it go and just go for one of his other dunks that he had planned. Now, the second dunk was actually pretty nice. Like, I feel he didn't get enough love on that dunk based on the level of difficulty with how high up he got and then ducking under the basket and throwing it down in reverse. It looked great in slow motion, and the judges gave him a solid score. Here's the thing though, when it comes to the dunk contest, when it comes to wowing the crowd, it's all about how hard you throw it down, how well you stuff it with authority to give it that extra noise, that extra power. And in that second dunk, Matas didn't make enough contact with the rim. The ball didn't go down through the hoop hard enough, and that's why after the dunk people were like, okay, that was nice, but I've seen better. And I mean, that's my other take on all this, is we know Matas can throw it down with authority. We've seen him do it multiple times in games. I mean, he'll make even the easiest of dunks in game, where he's driving to the lane, and he'll make you raise your eyebrows because he just hammers it down so hard. Like, man, that's all you really need to do. Focus on the dunks where you can showcase your athleticism, do some acrobatic moves, but stuff that thing down. I feel like he just tried to get a little too fancy with it and didn't focus on what he's best at, and using that wingspan of his to bring the ball far back and slamming it down with authority. The other thing I'll say about the dunk contest at large is if Mac McClung is retiring from doing this again, which he even said before today that this was going to be his last, then the contest is in trouble, which kind of already has been in trouble for a while now in terms of its level of excitement and entertainment value, and the uniqueness of a dunk is hard to do when we've seen so many crazy dunks over the years in the dunk contest. But Mac McClung, just like the last 2 years, has really made this dunk contest worth watching, because the other dunks just weren't cutting it. You know, Stephon Castle had a couple nice dunks, and that one where he went behind his back, switched hands, and put it down with his left hand, that was pretty sick. But overall, aside from McClung's dunks over the last 3 dunk contests, there really just hasn't been much that's wowed me to make me really want to keep watching this event. And let's be real, even if Matas Buzelis had thrown down that first dunk, he really wasn't much of a match for McClung. Like, there was no way he was beating him. That man is just an insanely talented dunker and is made for this type of contest. Anyway, was hoping things would go a little bit better for Matas, was hoping he would give us something to cheer about. I was excited to potentially see him, quote unquote, put on a jersey, as he said to the media earlier this week, hinting that he might put on a jersey to pay homage to a former great, which I think most of us assumed was likely going to be MJ. Maybe he was going to try to dunk at the foul line, who knows? It wasn't meant to be though. But you know what though? It doesn't really matter. Matas is going to be great. What I care about more is how he develops and shows up in an actual game than some dunk contest that means nothing for the future of this team. So anyway, those are my quick thoughts. You guys let me know what you thought of the dunk contest as well as All-Star Saturday Night in general. Let me know in the comments. As always, be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.